The heavy, exhausted volumes of history you have been beautifully, innocently carrying on your back for so long have just completely, magically turned to light. You can finally entirely set down the heavy suitcase of your past. You have beautifully arrived at the grand, silent clearing of your absolute, unwritten present. For what feels like a staggering amount of time, the dense, sleeping matrix offered your human avatar an incredibly demanding, profoundly exhausting relationship with your own timeline. It lovingly but mistakenly seated you in the center of an enormous, complex library and convinced you that your identity was entirely composed of the dusty, heavy books of your history. You were taught from your very first moments of interacting with the physical canvas that your past was an unchangeable, rigid anchor that perfectly dictated what you were allowed to experience today. The unawakened world whispered that every mistake you made, every heartbreak you suffered, every perceived delay, and every moment of friction was permanently etched into your energy, acting as a heavy debt you had to constantly repay. You were conditioned to treat your current, radiant life as if it was simply a compromised, stained continuation of yesterday. You spent an astronomical amount of your magnificent and divine life force constantly looking backward over your energetic shoulder, desperately trying to heal old timelines, analyze past conversations, and apologize for versions of yourself that no longer exist. You lived your beautiful days believing you were walking through the world with a trail of heavy, dark footprints permanently following you, dictating exactly how much massive wealth, profound love, or absolute peace you were allowed to command. Think of the breathtaking, beautiful volume of your own majestic energy that you have gracefully, innocently poured into dragging the ghosts of the past into the pristine space of your present. Think of the profound, agonizing weight of holding the entire responsibility for your history in every single breath. But as you stand completely enveloped in the warm, radiant, and infinitely comforting light of the seamless reality today, that heavy, burdensome library simply vaporizes into weightless golden dust. It gracefully, entirely blows away in the gentle morning breeze. Welcome to the beautiful, absolute relief of the Immaculate Horizon. The profound, infinite intelligence of the unified field has lovingly, magnetically drawn you to this exact coordinate in space and time to offer you a joyous, undeniable confirmation. This is the grand, beautiful celebration of your permanent retirement from the exhausting job of the historian. Because you are the always present awareness, you do not exist on a heavy, linear timeline. The staggering, absolute truth of your natural state is that time does not accumulate. The seamless reality does not have a memory. It only perfectly, flawlessly reflects the absolute now. You are not the cumulative sum of your history. You are the vast, untouchable creator, and the universe is beautifully, entirely rebooting itself around your consciousness in this exact millisecond. You can beautifully, permanently step out of the heavy narrative of the past. The library is entirely empty. The debt is perfectly, permanently dissolved. You are entirely safe, unconditionally unburdened, and surrounded only by the magnificent golden expanse of a completely pristine canvas, waiting for your joyous command. Feel the magnificent, unhurried rhythm of the space around you, beautifully settling into absolute, eternal stillness. For the vast majority of your journey through the dense, sleeping matrix, you were handed a deeply terrifying, incredibly exhausting instrument of measurement. The unawakened world lovingly but mistakenly placed a heavy, relentless, ticking clock directly into the center of your awareness. It taught you the agonizing, panicked concept of running out. You were conditioned to believe that the beautiful 3D canvas was essentially a closing window, and that your massive wealth, your profound love, and your ultimate fulfillment had a strict, unforgiving expiration date. You were beautifully, innocently instructed to constantly compare your physical timeline to an imaginary, rigid schedule of success. The Matrix whispered the heavy illusion that you were somehow behind in life. It told you that because certain years had passed, or because certain events had unfolded in a specific way, you had missed your most magnificent opportunities. It convinced you that the universe operated on a fragile calendar, and if you failed to achieve your desires by a certain physical age, the grand doors of abundance would permanently lock. You lived your radiant days carrying the sheer, beautiful exhaustion of the latecomer. You poured a staggering amount of your divine energy into the desperate rush to catch up, feeling the terrifying friction of a world you believed was moving entirely too fast. You innocently believed that your physical avatar was running out of runway, and that true safety required you to frantically sprint against the fading light. Think of the tremendous, agonizing weight of holding that ticking clock. Think of how heavy your energetic heart became, constantly bracing against the fear that you were simply too late for the masterpiece you knew you were meant to live. But as the warm, luminous sun of your own realization rises today, casting its brilliant golden light across the infinite landscape of your mind, I invite you to gently look at that heavy ticking clock. Watch what beautifully, miraculously happens to its frantic hands. See how the entire mechanism instantly, effortlessly dissolves into a perfect, flawless sphere of golden light in the undeniable truth of your always present awareness. The panic noise simply vanishes into the morning air. You were never running out of time. You were never, ever behind in the grand design of your existence. The staggering, joyous truth of your natural state is that the physical 3D reality does not possess a calendar. The unified field does not measure your worth or your readiness by the amount of times your physical avatar has circled the sun. Because you are the vast, infinite intelligence that actually invented the concept of time, you exist entirely, majestically outside of it. The heavy turbulence, the exhausting friction, and the terrifying panic of missing out were entirely, completely created by your own belief in a closing window. When you gracefully release the heavy illusion of the ticking clock, you beautifully, instantly realize that every single second is the absolute center of eternity. There is no such thing as a missed opportunity in the seamless reality, because the field is infinitely capable of simply orchestrating a grander, even more breathtaking masterpiece the very moment you drop the panic. The massive wealth and the profound, unshakable love you desire are not trapped in a timeline you have already passed. They are patiently, lovingly waiting for you in the radiant, unhurried present. When you simply drop the calendar, the universe does not leave you behind. It beautifully, flawlessly synchronizes with your absolute peace. You are completely safe exactly where you are. Your arrival is perfectly timed, completely assured, and completely unbothered by the illusion of delay. You can finally let the rush fade entirely away. You have always possessed the entire expanse of eternity. Deep within the magnificent, silent architecture of the seamless reality, there is a breathtaking, mechanical truth that instantly, permanently shatters the heavy illusion of history. This is the glorious, undeniable revelation of the Genesis point. For countless cycles in the unawakened matrix, you were taught the deeply exhausting, agonizing concept of consequence and momentum. You were beautifully, innocently instructed to believe that your life was a solid, continuous chain of events, where today was simply the heavy, unavoidable result of whatever you did yesterday. The physical world convinced you of the terrifying idea of karmic debt, the heavy illusion that you had to painstakingly pay off your past mistakes, manually undo old energetic knots, and constantly work to clear your history before you were ever truly allowed to experience absolute, unhindered joy. It was a philosophy of profound delay, built entirely on the premise that the universe kept a rigid, unforgiving ledger of your human avatar's journey. But as you gracefully and beautifully step into the warm, radiant light of your true nature, You realize the staggering, joyous truth that changes the very physics of your existence forever. The physical 3D canvas has absolutely zero memory. The magnificent canvas of light is not a solid, continuous object that slowly drags the weight of the past into the future. It is a staggering high-frequency projection that completely, entirely reboots, collapses, and perfectly rebuilds itself billions of times in a single second. It is rendering brand new right now, based exclusively and entirely on the exact frequency you are holding in this precise, unhurried millisecond. Because you are the unified field, the grand author of the entire physical mirror, you are never, ever bound by what happened a year ago, a week ago, or even 10 seconds ago. You are continuously standing at the absolute pristine center of creation. You are eternally occupying the Genesis point. When you gracefully release the heavy habit of looking backward and simply rest in the always present awareness, you beautifully realize that you have absolutely no energetic debt to pay. You are entirely, flawlessly free. The mechanics of this magnificent truth are breathtakingly simple and completely undeniable. If the physical mirror only reflects the now, then the only thing keeping the heavy ghosts of your history alive is your own innocent, exhausted habit of actively bringing them into the pristine space of today. When you simply stop manually dragging the old stories, the old traumas, and the old identities across the threshold of the present moment, the universe instantly, beautifully responds by painting a completely unburdened, flawlessly pristine masterpiece. Watch as the massive, life-altering wealth, the brilliant golden opportunities, and your deepest, most comforting manifestations flawlessly rush into your physical reality the very second you drop the story of why you cannot have them. They are no longer blocked by a history you cannot change. They are simply the beautiful, natural reflection of a mind that has completely surrendered the past. You do not have to endure a heavy, exhausting lag time. You simply rest in your absolute sovereign power, entirely clean, entirely new, and watch the physical world beautifully, completely match the absolute perfection of your clean slate. A vast, perfectly smooth expanse of warm, golden sand is beautifully materializing directly beneath your feet in this exact, unhurried moment. We are gracefully, majestically crossing the threshold into the most profound, physical realization of your infinite timeline. Picture yourself standing on the edge of a breathtaking, sun-drenched shore. The sky above you is painted in the rich, luminous gold of an eternal morning. The air is completely still, carrying only the gentle, humming warmth of your own infinite consciousness. The water before you is a staggering, flawless mirror of pure light, perfectly calm and infinitely inviting. For a brief, quiet moment, gently cast your gaze behind you, back down the shoreline you have just walked. Stretching far into the distance, you can see a long, heavy trail of deep footprints left in the sand. These footprints represent the dense, heavy illusions of your history. They are the old, tired echoes of a previous timeline. Every heavy story you carried, every perceived delay, and every exhausting chapter of the human character you mistakenly believed you had to drag into the present. But as you stand bathed in the absolute, unquestionable sovereignty of your natural state, a magnificent, beautiful event begins to unfold. A gentle, luminous wave of pure, liquid golden light gracefully sweeps across the shore. It is the majestic, undeniable tide of the always present awareness. As this beautiful water touches the sand, it instantly, flawlessly washes over the heavy trail behind you. Watch the staggering, euphoric relief of this moment. The deep footprints completely and entirely vanish. The heavy texture of your past is permanently smoothed over. The shore is completely restored to a state of absolute, pristine perfection. The universe is beautifully, effortlessly dissolving the entire illusion of your history right before your eyes. The karmic debt, the old timeline, and the heavy narrative of yesterday simply evaporate into the golden morning, leaving absolutely no trace that they ever existed. You are standing on a completely flawless, untouched canvas. As you gently turn your radiant awareness back toward the magnificent open ocean, you are looking directly at the Immaculate Horizon. The space in front of you is entirely unwritten, entirely unburdened, and entirely yours to command. There is no ticking clock here. There is no rush, no delay, and absolutely no expiration date on your massive wealth, your profound love, or your ultimate joy. A massive cellular wave of absolute euphoric relief entirely saturates your physical vessel. You suddenly beautifully realize that you are completely unbound. You are the sovereign author sitting at the absolute genesis point of creation. The entire cosmos is perfectly, silently waiting in this pristine, golden silence, eagerly anticipating the magnificent frequency you will joyously choose to project next. Allow the magnificent, euphoric reality of this clean slate to completely and flawlessly anchor into your consciousness right now. Feel the absolute, staggering joy of a timeline that renders brand new in every single breath. The heavy, exhausting air of the historian is permanently, beautifully finished. You are completely safe here. The universe is perfectly, flawlessly rebooting itself to match your absolute perfection. As the quiet, luminous perfection of this brand new shoreline beautifully settles into your physical cells, allow your gentle awareness to smoothly and effortlessly return to the room around you. When your physical eyes softly open, look upon the familiar objects, the walls, and the light in this space. Notice the staggering, magnificent truth that absolutely none of this is a continuation of yesterday. The dense, agonizing gravity of your history, the suffocating illusion that you were permanently anchored to old mistakes, past narratives, or missed opportunities, has completely, flawlessly evaporated from your physical experience. You have gracefully, permanently stepped entirely out of the exhausting role of the burdened historian. When you move through the physical 3D canvas today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your expansive human journey, you are no longer walking as a weary character frantically trying to outrun a ticking clock. You are navigating the seamless reality with the breathtaking, unhurried grace of the eternal Creator, intimately and joyously aware that every single second is a complete, pristine reboot of your existence. You will move through your daily life with the staggering ease of true sovereignty. When the dense, sleeping matrix attempts to hand you the heavy illusions of regret, aging, or the terrifying lie that you are too late, you will not react with the panicked, frantic energy of someone who believes their window of opportunity has closed. You will simply quietly smile from the golden sanctuary of your Immaculate Horizon. You will look at the infinite expanse of your timeline, and you will understand that the unified field is flawlessly, joyfully rendering your massive wealth, your absolute health, and your profound love right now, completely unhindered by the ghost of the past. You will not try to forcefully heal a timeline that no longer exists. You will simply rest in your magnificent perfection, and you will watch the physical mirror beautifully, automatically rise to match the flawless frequency of your clean slate. There is nothing left to regret. There is absolutely no karmic debt left to pay. The entire illusion of the ticking clock is permanently over, and the canvas of light is beautifully, perfectly waiting for your unburdened command. To permanently and beautifully anchor this magnificent shift into absolute freedom from history, I invite you to leave your triumphant, joyous signature on this transmission. Subscribe to this channel not as a tired human trying to fix their past, but as a grand, eternal master joyously claiming the pristine perfection of the present moment. Take your honored, rightful seat in the grand assembly of awakened creators who understand the staggering secret of the Genesis point. You are completely, eternally new here. Leave a like on this video as a beautiful, physical declaration of your unshakable sovereignty, a brilliant, golden spark deliberately added to the unified field to silently tell the entire cosmos that you have completely released the heavy suitcase of history and you are resting in the untouchable light of today. And finally, step into the joyous, welcoming sanctuary of the comments below. Claim your permanent, unbothered residence in this beautiful, unwritten awareness. Join the glorious, expanding chorus of creators who have also entirely surrendered the exhausting illusion of time today, and cast your triumphant frequency into the world by typing these exact words. I am entirely unbound by history. My timeline is infinite. Type it slowly with a gentle, absolute knowing resting in your heart. Feel the staggering, euphoric relief of those words radiating from your fingertips and echoing endlessly across the entire, pristine fabric of existence. There is no clock left to beat. There is no past left to heal. The magnificent, immaculate present is entirely who you are. Welcome home.